haven't even read that part, but I already know because I've seen this behavior so much in the VTubing community and online, where people like to give a lot of value to themselves by saying that they have all of these women, these great women, usually somebody that's popular or that has some kind of social status, is fawning after them, is running after them, but it didn't work out because of XYZ reason, or maybe he's into it. It's never true, man. Stop lying. I would take a step back at that point. Does he have no pride? He has no pride. Like, he has no... Aren't you? Bro, you're embarrassing yourself right now. Holy, what are... These words are so manipulative. It's like, you know, not many people do that. You're the only one that does that. You don't seem like the kind of person who says they'll do something and then don't do it. There, he's like trying to gotcha her. She doesn't contact it again for the collab. He can just hold that over her head. EvilToaster, who is he? He's, you know what? I was actually following this guy. So he's a VTuber. I remember seeing a lot of tweets from him, mostly about him feeling like he's not accepted by the community, that he can never be one of the girls. But apparently he's also a Twitch ambassador. And he seems like a very well-connected VTuber. We probably know less about him, or my community, I know you guys pretty well. You know, we watch and we know a little bit more about the corpo side, but he's like a Twitch streamer. So there's a lot of very popular VTubers on the Twitch side that we don't know about. And he's kind of a clown. I guess he really speaks like a Reddit mod. Like, legit, he speaks like a Reddit mod. Red flag at his face. All right, we're not gonna be mean to Twitch viewers, okay? There's no YouTube supremacy going on, guys. You guys should get along with each other. We're all people in the end, okay? But the way it started is so ironic. The payback is so it's almost biblical. The way everything got turned on him. So much arrogance in his tweet. And you know me, I think arrogance can be fine. It's a lost art sometimes. You can be arrogant and pull it off, but he doesn't pull it off at all. He doesn't pull it off at all. He starts by saying, now when people ask me what does being a Twitch ambassador mean, I can say I told them to make this feature and they actually hecking did it. Can't wait to give it a try. And it's the worst feature ever. Something that the French do very well, or especially in, you know, literature book, there's always going to be that one very debonair, very arrogant character, but that character has class, that character has bite, he's witty, he's clever, he's everything, like he's him. But that guy is not him. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. If you're arrogant, you kind of gotta earn it. The classy, likable, arrogant character, yes, but the classy, arrogant character is not EvilToaster in this story. In this story, we have the unlikable, arrogant character. And I'm not sure his arrogance stems from true confidence. It seems like this person is troubled, and it seems like he's got some stuff to sort through, but we're gonna get through all of that. I've read some parts of the documents, I haven't read all of it, so there's still some parts where I'm gonna get surprised. As for the Twitch feature, knock knock, streamers can now collaborate with other Twitch streamers who are live without any advanced setup or planning. Look for the collaboration icon to find a streamer in your network who is open to collaborating with you and click knock to get started. So there's all sorts of issues with this. Apparently there's a favorite list that you could have done where you only enable people on your list to knock you, but that list doesn't work. VTubers, it automatically turns on their webcam and it can dox you. See chat, this is why your webcam should not be plugged if you don't use it. Also, I'm always paranoid that people can, you know, the government is spying on you through it. And this is also why I had my like webcam under my desk for like a really long time. That way if it ever turns on accident, it doesn't show anything, it's just black. So there's also two VTubers that tested this feature, by the way. There were two friends, they were streaming, they were like, oh, let's try it for shits and giggles, and they did it and it actually turned on their webcam. But yeah, everybody, literally every single big VTuber has commented on this and QRT this. I didn't, because I'm like, there is nothing of value I will add to this conversation that hasn't already been said. Even Shy Lily is like, knock knock, who's there? Unwanted feature. For real though, please let us opt out of these. These would be fine if you could opt out, but it was rushed. It wasn't ready to hit the market. And now I believe that they have walked back some of the features. I think they made another announcement. But as you can see, that tweet got 5.9 million views. It got so much impression. But for all the wrong reasons. Wait, did they actually walk it back, or they just fix bugs on the mobile app? There's a patch note, chip to fix bugs, sending viewers to another stream while they were watching a stream. Wait, never mind. They did not. Am I looking at a wrong tweet? Ways it could have been done better. Opt-in, default to only people who agreed to be in each other's list. Yeah, absolutely. That's how it should work. Or make it like a non-invasive feature. Yeah, toaster is toast. Let's continue with the timeline here. So he got mega dunked on in the QRTs, by the way, because people hated how he responded to this. And then he said, muted this a while ago because I ain't subjecting myself to y'all's brain rot. When people had legitimate criticism towards this feature that he took credit for implementing, instead of being like, okay, I've listened to your concerns and we're gonna change the way the things work, or saying like, you know, maybe it's not a complete it's not a complete thing. I think once it's fixed and we implement it differently, it can be a really good feature, because he can believe in it. That's fine. But the way he's going about it, doubling down on it and not accepting that it is not what he thought it would be, and it's not getting received the way he thought it would be, is pretty cringe. But it wasn't obviously clear, me telling Twitch, please add better features for collabing and making collab organizing and communication easier, is not the same as me deciding how exactly that is executed. And the amount of people saying no one asked for this, bro, none of y'all asked for anything. You actually need to grow on Twitch because you have no idea what you're doing. Collab content is proven to be extremely effective, but you refuse to engage in it because you're terrified of people. I hate the way this was worded. I have so much issues with, well, first of all, he's talking down to people. No one likes to be talking down to, unless it's like in French and is by a hot girl. And secondly, he's like, you guys need to grow on Twitch. So he's being condescending to everybody that is trying to grow on Twitch. And also he's wrong about overplaying and overstating the importance of collabs. Sure, if you collab with somebody that is huge, you guys still need to... Okay, my point is, I'm gonna try to word this properly. Yes, you can collab with somebody, but if you don't mesh with them and your fan base and your content isn't the kind of content their viewers would enjoy, it's not gonna stick. Like, if you get a big raid, if you don't convince these viewers to stick in your stream and to come back in your next streams, it's not really gonna do as much as you think it's gonna do. You need to have good content in the first place, and you need to have the kind of content that they want to see. Yeah, and that's true. A lot of people don't want to grow into other content creators, and there's some content creators that do fairly well without collabing as well, if they're more the kind of people that are, how do you say that, not outgoing, the opposite of outgoing. Like, I had a friend who literally averaged 1K viewers every day playing like this mobile game called Albion 10 hours a day from his room and would never leave the house. That's all he did. Never talked to anybody. Introverted, yeah. You could be an introverted person, and he was also reclusive, and he lived in such a beautiful country. He lives in Hawaii, which is crazy. Imagine living in one of the most beautiful countries in the world and you just stay online on your computer. Anyway, kind of based. See, you can see the same things you guys are saying reflected in the comments here. Leah Kitty says, I have social anxiety and I'm terrified of interacting with people. Brain rot and disagreement with how an idea is carried out is vastly different. This response isn't cool at all. That's Rosie being based as usual. I definitely feel like people shouldn't equate you wanting more collab features to the issues of how it was implemented, but there are many people, big and small, who don't like it. It doesn't mean they have no idea what they're doing. Exactly! It doesn't mean they have no idea what they're doing. There is valid criticism to be made about it. Yes, I'm gonna like it. because she's my girl. It's really depressing. I used to like Toaster. Is also how I found out Chi-Chi as well, but that's just so effed up. His response wasn't good, but you know what? That doesn't make him a criminal. That just makes him an idiot. And there's a lot of idiots in the world. But after that, it doesn't make him malicious yet. Now, what we're gonna read after in the Google Doc, we can decide that on our own. I have like an idea of who he is because I read a little bit through it, but I haven't read everything yet. Yet is the key word. And as for the importance of collab, I mean, look, there are some times where it works really, really well. Really well. Like, I think somebody in chat was telling me that somebody collabed with Fillion, and after that they were averaging like thousands of viewers. Sure, but I've also collabed with a lot of people, and it's like, you know, it was a good time, it was good content for my viewers, but it doesn't really change my content, and the same with raids. So you could do both really, and it would still work. It's not the thing that's gonna make or break your career the way he's saying it. For example, Captain Giga from Vshoujo, she said she never collabed until she got like really big because she was afraid of reaching out to people. And I'm sure if we like look, we can find a few other examples like this. But EvilToaster, the way he's wording it, it makes it seem like you can only grow through collabs and you are nothing without other bigger content creators. Collabs should be about fun, not business growth. Exactly. It's about, honestly, the way I see it is just about making content for my community that people will enjoy, and maybe I get to make a friend at the same time. So this guy is a pretty well-connected guy. Like one of the commenters said, he connects a lot of VTubers together. He also is friend with a lot of VTubers, some more popular than others. Namely, the biggest name that you guys might know is Intraya. He also knows Milkie. I kind of want to look up his Twitch. So he's got a significant 72k followers on Twitch. That is a lot. I don't know what's his CCV like, but it seems he's got a relatively big platform. I just wanted to make sure of something. And it all starts with this post. We're tired of EvilToaster behind the scene behavior going unchecked and allowing them to mistreat women while still benefiting from his position as a Twitch ambassador / status in the VTuber community. This came in the light of the criticism and backlash he received on his tweet regarding the Twitch ambassador feature he uploaded, basically. All right, so let's read this. You know, at first, if a document starts, and that's gonna be my skeptical thing, if a document opens up and the first thing written on it is power dynamic, I'm usually like, ugh. But I saw some bits of it, and some parts he legitimately looks like just a manipulator. But let's read it together. There's like 57 pages in this, so I'm gonna try to go through it fast, or I'm gonna skip like some parts that are not important. The many stories of those manipulated, hurt, and cornered by EvilToaster, his constant overbearing and unwanted intimate behavior towards others, his forceful entry past boundaries, and more. It was not made to incite harassment. We want to bring awareness. Power dynamics. What's most important to keep in mind while reading through this document, it's the power imbalance between Toaster and the woman they interact with. In the content creation space, EvilToaster is connected to a lot of public figures with numbers backing them. You know what this really reminds me of? Have you guys seen my Yakurisu video? It reminds me of the Yakurisu thing. Beyond that, these public figures are incredibly respected with the community. People rarely speak out about how Toaster acts behind the scene because they do not want to burn bridges with people associated with him. Well, honestly, if you have a problem with how one of your friends acted and you bring it to your friend and it burns bridges with them, well, maybe they weren't that much of a good friend in the first place. When people have spoken out, EvilToaster purposefully ignore any and all drama so as not to call attention to it. However, behind the scenes, he consistently badmouths people that he feels wronged them to set high-profile content creators. Okay, that's shitty behavior. This is widely known behind the scene, so people have valid reasoning for thinking they would be ostracized by a good portion of the VTubing community if they ever spoke out about his actions. If people are scared to even speak out against Toaster, it's not difficult to understand why people give him the benefit of the doubt and let him push boundaries that they normally would not. I hope this helps people understand why this document is necessary. Alright, Twitch ambassador situation. He's currently under scrutiny for belittling other content creators with the knock feature, and he went to mock the situation. This is a public presentation of his typical behavior to dismiss people's feelings and problems with him. It's true, I've noticed that. My personal experience, I'm including my personal experience with EvilToaster. I want to know I am not impartial when it comes to him. I like that they stated their bias. That's cool. The Twitch ambassador situation is completely separate incident, and I would have commented on anyone's demeaning words towards a community if they're meant to represent it. But it also further proved to me that EvilToaster will never take accountability for what he's done behind closed doors if we won't even do it for public instance. Got it. Regarding intimacy and boundaries, EvilToaster and I became friends about 2 years ago. I thought Toaster was an amazing person, kind, intelligent, and giving. However, looking back, I fear I was quite under the manipulation regarding Toaster. One of the first things Toaster will tell to anyone is that he craves affection, mostly from women, from what I've seen. Every convention is another reminder that I'm not one of the girlies, and I'm never— That's the tweet I saw! That's the tweet I saw a long time ago. And I'm never gonna get the kind of treatment and affection they give each other, even though I tried to connect with them. I've gotten better at dealing with the fact over time, but it still hurts to think about it. Bro, this is— I'm sorry, this is such a pathetic thing to tweet. What is— Twitter is not your diary, man. Okay, it's fine if you're not one of the girlies. You have different interactions with them. It doesn't take away from your friendships at all. I have a lot of guy friends. I know I'm never gonna be one of the boys, but that doesn't take anything from them. It makes it so we have just another dynamic, and it's fine. It gets worse. Let's keep on reading. I know what you mean. I'm glad for that. Honestly, I think I do good. I'm trying to be like that. I'm not escaping the man class position anytime soon. So it's still important that I be better for that. But no matter what I always am, just going to notice the small kind of ways people want to be closer to close me up because of how I'm perceived by them or by society. Which is just going to make me think more about how things would be different otherwise. Who I would be closer to, who would let me tell them more of my feelings, who would let me touch them. What do you— I don't get it. Is he mad because he doesn't get to go like into the girls' locker room and change? There's so many instances of this just seeing it in front of me through my whole life where people I'm generally good friends with will stop me at a point where they let women they know let go past. I need more context about what he's talking about here. What does he mean when people I'm generally good friends with will stop me at a point where they let women they know let go past? Poop touching and stuff like that? You guys think that's what he's referring to? If I'm going shopping with the girlies and I gotta, like, you know, go shop for underwear, I'm taking my girlfriend to the underwear store with me. I'm gonna leave my guy friend outside. You know, that's fine, man. It does get weird otherwise. Don't want people to get the wrong idea either. There's just some things— if it's something like that he's referring to, again, I don't have the context for this. I wish the screenshot showed a little bit more of the conversation. I prefer when screenshots are a little bit more in context, especially in Google Docs, because we don't know how this conversation got here, even though it is weird. At least I like this. Based on the information I have, it looks weird. He also expressed this sentiment to me many times in the beginning of our friendship, as you can see above. He desperately wanted intimacy with women, which he framed as casually saying I love you, calling people wife, and generally wholesome flirting. So is it wholesome or is it desperate? Best case, he means women treat girlfriends and guy friends differently, but I wouldn't single out just touching as a difference. It comes off very strange. Yeah, it does. Okay, this turns out not to be true, which you can read in the entirety of the doc. Even in the screenshot above, he says, who would let me touch them? I also want to point out that Toaster understand they're seen as a man and have, as they call it, a man class position. He's like to say he's aware of this, but then continues to pressure women despite knowing he's not one of the girlies. And frankly, it isn't because of his gender or his perceived gender, but because of how he constantly pushes boundaries and makes people, mostly women, uncomfortable. There you go, right on the nail. As a flirtatious person, I was fine flirting with him casually. However, I was in a relationship and I told him that if I fought or my boyfriend fought and it was too far, I would put a stop to it. Toaster responded, pics below. Well, what do you mean? If we get too close and you wanted more, we'd both have to deny ourselves something we'd want to explore. Okay, I don't know if that's... Is that wholesome flirting, or is that just straight up flirting? Wholesome flirting for me is like when Bao Goon replies to one of the girls posting a fan art, right? Or like when I comment on Stropting, Strop fan art being like, oh my god, you're so cute today. Bao Gooning, I don't know if that's flirting. Yes, I'm capable of doing that. A crush is just a crush. And anything more, it's easy to seize because compared to the relationship I have now, there's no reason to want another when it jeopardizes this one. I see what you're thinking. I'm just thinking it would be a shame if it came to a point where we had to hold ourselves back is all. What do you mean by that? So far, I don't feel like I've had to hold back anything, which has been an incredibly great and refreshing feeling for new friends, so I value that a lot. And I value you a lot. Okay, so he is pressuring her. He's like, oh, I feel like I haven't been able to hold back. It's great. It's refreshing. No one else makes me feel like that. That's what it means, kind of. Why do you need to hold back on flirting for it to be an okay relationship? I hope you can still value me despite the potential need to deny yourself something and condition yourself. I value you even just as fellow creators, yes, but the connection beyond that so far is very unique to me. It's hard to not want to explore, which is why I ask things like that. But I'm not gonna do anything you don't want me to do, or anything. I'm getting so much from you already the way things are. It's not like I'm dissatisfied or anything. I clearly set a boundary here. Toaster said we'd both have to deny ourselves something we'd want to explore. I wanted to let Toaster know I really admired his intelligence and kindness, and while he saw his friend's crush as something more than it was, I still expressed to him that I did not want him in any ways. I just used that term with a lot of my friends as a way to express admiration. Later on, I expressed to him how men in the past have left me as a friend because they won't get anything more out of me. He says he won't, but then says, well, again, I'm fine with not going past any boundary you decide for how close we should be. I do also hope that you don't end up in a situation where you want to be closer, but either feel like you can't or are forced not to. That is awkward. I'm not sure how likely that would be, or how likely we'd even get to that level in the first place. But I just wouldn't want you to be in a situation where you felt like you had to hold back. Bro is Frog. He's on some fan fiction shit. Holding back feels hard sometimes, I guess. Even I still feel like I have to. But I'm obviously not holding back as much as I have in the past with other. Thank God. I just want you to have what you want, whatever that is or will be. And I just fear from you've talked about it that there's a possible outcome where you'll be told to distance from me and neither of us may want it. I wouldn't leave you if that happened, of course, but it would be sad. It happens, man. And it's not that big of a deal. If somebody's in a relationship with you, even if you've done nothing wrong, like, even if you've done nothing wrong, I don't see why. If their partner is uncomfortable with you two talking, then that's it. That should be the end of the discussion. All right, we'll cease the flirting. If you actually care about this person's friendship for nothing more, for like the actual friendship, and you're not trying to pursue something romantic, you shouldn't have an issue with that. Talking about others. Pushing boundaries is typical of Toaster. Further onto our friendship, I brought up how uncomfortable I was with the way he talked about women. I think the way you talk about women bothers me. What? Why? Where? I didn't like how you spoke about Milkie once she felt emotional attached towards you. What part of that? Then you talked about Kisa and made a comment about her incapability to say no to other people, which came off bitter to me because you said she was too popular for you to hang out, so it was hard to make time with her. Evidence proving he said this about Kisa. I think you're looking for a romantic relationship rather than platonic ones, or maybe you're feeling the need for close platonic relationships like a best friend. I hardly even have baseline level platonic friendships save a few people, and all of those people have massively less time for me than I have for them. Not sure how to help. I don't think there's a way to help. I think therapy would be good once you move out and you're on your own. I already called my therapist. What did they say? Next week, good. I might be able to hang out with Kisa tomorrow afternoon, assuming no one snatches her up for anything. Are you talking about me specifically? It was unfortunate I didn't even get to play Apex with her yesterday. I think maybe I should just get through everything and then criticize him at the end, because every single thing he says, I feel like criticizing him, chat. It's giving me anxiety reading all that. It's giving me anxiety. Well, funny coincidence since that happened like 3 times. No, actually, trying to schedule anything with her is hard because she's so popular, and I think she's the type to say no, which is concerning in itself. Oh, and I don't think she's the type to say no. Okay, I get it. I get it. So she said no to him, and she's not the type to say no, so now he's concerned, and he thinks because she's popular, she doesn't want to hang out with him. He's hyper focusing on numbers. As for what Milkie experienced, Toaster talked to me about her and him being intimate, although the way he had portrayed their intimacy differed greatly from what was actually occurring. That reminded me of the dude that was pretending he was dating a cosplayer. I hate when people do that. Toaster had mentioned having the possibility of a relationship with Milkie and becoming more intimate. However, Milkie had only ever expressed friendship and a platonic intimacy that comes from that. Any emotional attachment was strictly platonic, and all mentions of a relationship were simply those of friendship. She had never encouraged or communicated to Toaster that it would be anything more than a friendship. The way he portrayed his dynamic with Milkie was grossly misrepresented and instead was expressed in a very different light than how it actually was. I haven't even read that part, but I already know because I've seen this behavior so much in the VTubing community and online, where people like to give a lot of value to themselves by saying that they have all of these women, these great women, usually somebody that's popular or that has some kind of social status, is fawning after them, is running after them, but it didn't work out because of XYZ reason, or maybe he's into it. It's never true, man. Stop lying. Oh, I skipped a message. I would have played today, but I was showering with Milkie. You were what? We showered at the same time while on call and talked in the shower. I'm praying for you. Just in general, I'm more worried for her now than myself, personally. Ugh. Yeah? Yeah, she admits she's attached to me and is kind of upset about the fact that because she doesn't like being vulnerable. But I don't mind it right now. I need to put some cringe disclaimer if I turn this into a VOD. Dude. Bruh. If he blabs about that to a friend, already, that's a red flag. And on top of that, it's not even true. It's not even true and you say that? Toaster often talked about Milkie and how much comfort and intimacy she brought him, but how it made him defensive because he wasn't used to it. Despite this, he was still fine for it to continue and often expressed how nice it was for him to enjoy what Milkie gave him. All without returning her feelings and knowing it was hurting her to be more attached than he was. I later learned that this was misrepresenting what happened between them. The shower call was just a voice, no cam. It's clear that Toaster wanted a more sexual intimacy with Milkie, which you can see later in Milkie's experience. Between what he said about Milkie and Kisa, both people he was romantically interested in, I started to feel weird about it and confronted him. Yo, that girl has a lot of balls, not gonna lie. Thank you. Okay, so for me, it read as something that didn't really fit my perception of you. I get that. I felt that when you were saying something that you had no intention behind, it came off to me as if there was more under those words, because in my past, a lot of people have had those secondary meaning. And I'm not someone who usually judges anyone at all for more surface level behaviors because they just don't even come up on my radar. And I've never understood why people are judgmental over weird minute things like that. I understand that. I feel the same way. I never really see people non-harmful behavior as a problem or inconvenience. It is just part of who they are. They come up on my radar not as something to judge them or distance myself from them over, but just as part of them knowing and adding it to the pile of things I notice about them. So for you, my friend Toaster, he's quoting a message from her, I suppose. To seemingly suddenly make those comments, I felt very weird, and I think it was all in a frame of reference to you branching out to Milkie in a more intimate way, and that's why I had that relationship lens on it, because if I felt like you were searching out partners. It makes sense why you were worried about me at the time in regards to Milkie. I was fully aware going into connection with Milkie that there were circumstances from both our lives that would have some influence over how we approach each other. And I took the initiative to make that very open and clear from both our ends to ensure nothing too silly would happen. I think her and I are in a healthy relationship now because of that. I did go into it thinking there was a possible outcome of her and I progressing to a relationship status, but I didn't consider it a high likelihood or something that I was going to pursue at all costs. It was just that the thought of it was possible and being aware of it. And being aware of it in combination with knowing how both her and I were approaching each other given our circumstance helped ensuring that our conversation were healthier and helped me know what to communicate. Even here, it's clear that Toaster had intentions when getting close to women. When he says there was a possible outcome, her and I progressing to a relationship status, a lot of the time, Toaster will go back and forth between never expecting anything from women and a few moments later will admit that he does have expectations. This, coupled with the fact he openly admits that he didn't mind Milkie being attached to him and not reciprocated, was a huge red flag to me. It felt like he was using Milkie. This all from limited knowledge, as I didn't ask Milkie about this at the time, since it was her business and didn't want her to feel like Toaster was talking about her behind her back or I was judging her from being with Toaster. However, the reality of the situation is vastly different from how Toaster depicts it to me, which you can read in Milkie's account. Toast is actively ignoring everything, which is funny. He still has yet to done a response, is he? I wonder if he will. He's asked for people. I saw one of you tweet, I think, was it you, Lumi, or another under the T podcast? And apparently he's changed his Discord status to, if you want to have more information, DM me. So he wants to keep it behind closed doors, you know? That was you. Should we... Oh, they added Milkie's experience later on. Maybe we'll get to that later then. And we should keep going with this order. Yeah, let's keep going with this order. Wait, let's see. EvilToaster typically psychoanalyzes people without them ever consenting to this or desiring it. I was incredibly upset that he talked about Kisa in this way because as a woman, the notion that we have a hard time saying no to people is honestly true. But Toaster should have respected that instead of commenting on it out of frustration that she was saying no to him. However, whether this was true or not, I wasn't particularly close to her at this time. But I also knew Toaster wasn't, so it felt disrespectful for him to say that about her, even as an objective observation, as he liked to put it. Despite Toaster noting that Kisa had problems saying no to people, he continued to pressure her to hang out with him. I understand well that this is a struggle for women, and given Kisa's history, it is likely something she deals with very often. When I commented on it, and even I just observed it myself, it was from a point of empathy. However, in the context of the conversation with you, I brought it up as a point that makes it difficult to find more time with her and how that frustrated me. It didn't frustrate me as something personal from her against me, but more so because it was adding on to a pile of connection I have with people with their life circumstance that neither of us have control over, have kept us apart. You're totally right to feel angry about, you know, the subjugation of women and all that. It's not up to me to decide when the effects of that trigger a response from you. The frustrated tone you heard from me was the same frustration you have about it, because I understand why it happens and I'm angry about it too. Well, that specific societal dynamic doesn't affect me directly. It doesn't affect the people. It does affect the people I care about and makes connecting with each other harder for both parties. Bro, what are these walls of text, man? They're all like written properly too. There's no like you know, texting abbreviation, no, the U's are spelled properly and stuff. It's not multiple messages sent in a row. They're sending like paragraphs of text. All right, we're gonna see Kisa's point of view now. Toaster started talking to me more often after finding out about the relationship I left, and I thought that was a little weird. But I just gave him the benefit of the doubt that he's just trying to be nice since I was going through a hard time. After talking for a bit about what I had gone through, he also shared his experience with similar past relationship issues. So I just thought he wouldn't understand how I was feeling because of the issues he went through as well. I trusted that he was just being good friends because he would listen to my venting and other reassurance about things I was worried about from what I was used to with my ex. I've never really had many friends because my ex would get upset with me if I did. So my social anxiety only got worse from those 8 years because my social anxiety, I tend to worry that everyone hates me or find me boring or like they feel pity for me and I feel obligated to chat with me. Thus, I would not hang out with people much, and when people would want to hang out or plan collabs, I would get really shy, nervous, and typically find an excuse not to do it. Toaster had quickly started to want to hang out by playing a game together or just voice chat, and that made me uncomfortable given what I wasn't used to, and that he started only chatting with me more after I got out of my past relationship. I felt like it would be mean to just say that I'm not comfortable with it, so I would just make up an excuse whenever he would ask until I felt overwhelmed by how often he would keep asking that I just played with him once to not feel so guilty anymore. I would tell him that I was busy a lot, but never stopped him from asking. But one day, I guess he just got fed up with me not playing with him, and he sent me that long message about he's trusting me to reach out to him and that he's using the little amount of energy he has left to keep up with me and chat/plan things to do. And that long message just really didn't sit right with me because my narcissistic ex would say similar things that would make me feel guilty if I don't do something he's asking of me. I then explained to him how what he said was not okay and how it made me feel, which he apologized, but it didn't feel genuine and like he was only saying it because he didn't want me to stop talking to him. From then on, I didn't enjoy conversing with him and we didn't talk much after that happened. Throughout the whole time of talking with him, I had always felt like he wanted more than just a friendship out of it, and the regular comments he left on Twitter, on my selfies, and comments he made about my voice made me uncomfortable. Thank you, I will let you know ASAP if there's anything to worry. Kisa's very nice, I'm gonna try to hang out with her more. Yeah, she's super sweet. Did you see the selfie she just posted? Yeah, I saw. Cried, screamed. Kisa, tell me more fun facts about you. That dress is so pretty. Though depending on if that's the only window of time you think you'll have, I can cut it shorter. Assuming you don't have time now. No, I don't want you to cut your stream shorter for me. I just finished exercising and taking the photos. I'm sorry. What if I want to? I would feel bad if I couldn't make time somehow if you canceled for me. I'm catching up listening to your ASMR stream and you did very good. Your voice is perfect. Sounds good. We'll find some time. Also saw you singing. You sing very well. Are you gaming capable tonight? I'm glad you have a good turnout. I'm currently playing with a friend who is in need of someone to vent at the moment. I'm sorry. Dude, get a clue, man. Actually, also, it's just better to have your... And you know, I also don't mind when... I also don't like when people message me too often on Discord over meaningless stuff. Especially if it's just to flatter me about things. It just always comes off as disgenuine. Like, if it's... You know, congratulations on your debut and it's a friend of mine. Yeah, of course, you know, that makes sense. I'm already overwhelmed with fucking DMs. I don't need random compliments. She's just finding excuses and he's not getting clues. He's like, well, I could do this, I could do that, I can change this, blah, blah. I feel like it would just be less stressful if I just approach you whenever I'm able to play. Will you do that? He answers, will you do that? Just say okay. Just say okay, dude. Sounds like a 24-hour stream now. I'm gonna speedrun through the text messages. I'm fine. Okay, I get it. He's showing interest. Next, pushing boundary with Kisa. So turns out I ended early anyways, just because I could use the extra time off. Nice. Do you want to play Valorant with me? If not, that's okay. You can relax too. Yeah, let me hear back from Zen. She wants to Apex, but I don't think I'm ranked today. So, oh, I've seen this. But maybe she's up for Bub Trios and you can come join. If not, I'll play Valo. If you feel like playing with Zen, that is. Otherwise, yeah, I'll log into Valo. Unfortunately, I don't have Apex on my little bro's PC and the internet is a bit slow. So, you and Zen can play. Logging into Valorant then. So he's ditching Zen? Okay. He really wants to play with her. Like, he really wants to play with her. She's down horrendous. Bro can't take a hit, man. Hint, not hit. Sorry. Whoa. Yeah, he's kind of... That part reminded me of the Yakurisu thing. Except she did it way worse, where she would dangle her connection with Alpharad in a way to strong-arm people to doing stuff for her. I checked your mutual friends to see who I could invite for collabs later, and it's just CC. I guess I'll plan for that sometime in the future. Yeah, I don't have too many Twitter peeps on disc. Would you like to game in a bit before you have to go set up for the show? I'm sorry, I'm probably just gonna relax before stream since I get super nervous about the timing of things. I'm going to sleep. We hang out in the afternoon? Yes. When you say afternoon, what time do you mean? 7 PST before I'll be exercising again. Dude, leave her alone. He's annoying me now. He's annoying me. I can't read this anymore. Part of me is like, should she have been more clear? But on the another part of me is like, I feel like she's being pretty clear right now and she just doesn't have any social cues. She's always like, okay, do you want to play tonight? She's like, no, I have something. Do you want to play tomorrow afternoon? From the 12 p.m. 6 p.m. range, I'll mostly be working on stuff. Like, I feel like I would take a step back at that point. Does he have no pride? He has no pride. Like, he has no... Aren't you... Bro, you're embarrassing yourself right now. He immediately thought this will happen, but goes beyond. I mean, it doesn't gotta be this week. But I get super nervous playing thing. I understand. There's something I could do or some other way to go about it that you prefer. I know you said no, just keep checking, but it seems you aren't left with a lot of free time right now. I don't want to stress you out. But if I'm the one who plans it, does that make it easier instead of asking you what the best time is? We already read that. She already asked him that she'd approach him. Oh my god, then he sends her a wall of text. Dude, I'd be scared if somebody sends me that. I'm letting you know. I'm putting a lot of trust in you for that. Not to make it more stressful, but as I wrote about on Twitter yesterday, I'm dealing with the increasingly smaller ratio of people I know to people who actually reach out to me and ask me to do things and connect, which means I just have limited energy remaining to do all the work, if scheduling and organizing and just keeping up with everyone, because frankly, not many people message me on any given day. Which also is big because you're the one of the people I'm spending that energy for right now, to keep up with you and chat and find time to do things. Find time to do things. So frankly, if you just want to come to me the moment you have time, that'd actually be better for both of us. It's just surprising to me because no one really does that for me, so I'm both excited for that, but also worried if that'll actually happen. But you don't seem like one to just like not to do a thing they say they do, so yeah, just keep me updated. It seems we're both staying up to like 6 a.m. lately, so don't be afraid to poke me this late either. He is putting so much pressure on her. Yeah, no one owes you anything, and yeah, most people won't reach out to organize things, and I have to organize things myself, okay? I don't fucking cry about it, especially don't make a Twitter post about it. That is peak cringe. Holy, what are these words? Are so manipulative. He's like, you know, not many people do that. You're the only one that does that. You don't seem like the kind of person who says they'll do something and then don't do it. There he's like trying to gotcha her. So if she doesn't contact it again for the collab, he can just hold that over her head. Never mind, you're not the kind of person I thought you were. I think this guy's got too much free time. Psychoanalyzing others without their consent. All right, let's see what this is about. I don't know if I care about that much. He often diagnoses people with neurodivergent disorders like ADHD and autism. Yeah, I want to take she wants to take me up on a VOD review. Finally, someone at least. That's sweet. I don't know how well it would go though. She's not a very inquisitive person, I'm sensing. What are you, like a medium? You might be surprised. Already helped fix her OBS setup and she's asked 0 questions. And every time I checked to make sure she understood, because she would say, okay, she was like, no, I don't understand. I think most people are like that, but I noticed because when people actually seek out understanding, it says a lot about them. I hate his passive-aggressive emote game, by the way. So she says he didn't mean it with ill intent, but it rubbed me the wrong way. It's a weird thing to judge them in general. I think this relates to how he believes he can judge others and not face consequences. I've seen with Kisa and other women have problems saying no to people, and his lashing out during the Twitch ambassador situation. She's at off-Skype. She didn't tell me she was going. She didn't really tell anyone except a couple friends. She's also wasn't invited by anyone. There's a lot of reason why, but I know she just doesn't really want to admit that she doesn't want her partner to feel insecure. Oh, god damn, man, this dude is so cringe. He's already said he's felt insecure about me, and she said it in the past. She's compromising and keeping things to herself for his sake, and it just makes me so sad. I'm just not really the person that can call that out. She's slowly unlearning people pleasing, but I fear she will let herself go her whole life being content with compromising herself. That's not your problem, bro. Okay, I want to point out I was incredibly new to Vtuber and was familiar with autism through my younger sister who was diagnosed. Being new to the scene, not fully understanding how society view people with autism, I was pretty excited to talk to someone who seemed to know a lot about it. As we talked more, I started to find things I said or did into his folder of autistic tendencies, and later he introduced me to online tests to see if I was autistic. Okay. You think I did well? Yeah, how often do you examine your ability to appear and interact as a normal human? If I see something I don't understand, I usually look it up, especially words. Sirna, do you have ADHD anyway? If you want to take some recommended test start, go for it. You're doing great. By the way, it's totally hot people. Hot people radar off the charts, my favorite tell. You want to take the hot people test. Also, I totally get what you mean by like confused about why she scored low on the hot people test. But I think I understand why. There's no way she's neurotypical. Do you know like what she does for a job? I was hanging out with censored name. How did it go? Pretty good. She picked up Apex pretty well. She passed the hot people test and she started. And is a hot people test what he's referring to for like the autism test? Hey, we got the Rizzler here. That's his pickup line. Hey, are you autistic? What the fuck? What the hell? What the hell? Maybe you know what? Maybe Twitch streamers do deserve less. No. Surely they're not like Toaster, right? Not everybody is like Toaster, hopefully. What is this comment that I just opened on my screen? I wasn't paying attention when I clicked on it, and it's just out of context. EvilToaster saying, well, I have great news for you. Almost all the other VTubers are autistic too. Thumbs up. Okay, the person he's speaking to, anon to, does not identify as autistic and was incredibly unfair of him to take all that they were venting about, dismiss their feeling, continue to say, we're just autistic and I shouldn't worry about it because everyone is. Okay, so he's talking about a girl named Nia and says there's a very good likelihood she isn't even thinking about this at all because her head is empty. Meanwhile, my neurons are constantly firing. I mean, if she's bothered by it, I'm sure she'll let you know. You would think, but I do not know. I constantly tell her and remind her to let me know if there's any kind of discomfort coming from me, and she says I'm 100% fine. But if I'm watching her in past experience with other people, I'm not sure she would hold herself to that. Some random viewer constantly harassing her in chat and in DMs, acting like her boyfriend. She just kind of let him exist and responded to him nicely, even though he was killing the vibe. It took my mod team telling her it was making chat uncomfortable for her to do something. I don't know, I'd like to think it'd be different from you versus random. Yeah, but I don't even know for sure how Nia sees me. I still don't get how, like, for everyone else, Nia's like super cheerful and happy and supportive and shows love and kisses to everyone, and I'm around, she's just like not even remotely like that. Well, I don't know, are you making her uncomfortable, Evil? There seems to be a pattern. I'm positive she doesn't even notice she does that, because the more I learn about her, the more I realize she just legit isn't thinking about it. But I don't know, because we haven't talked about that dynamic specifically. Okay, I'm gonna skim through. Like her, like Anon 2 and I are getting closer. I feel like we could talk about whatever at this point, but every time I try to have a deeper conversation with Nia, I almost feel like she's deflecting it. Because you're making her uncomfortable. That's why. I'm also sure she's just unaware that's what I'm trying to do. And cannot pick up on the fact that I'm trying to talk about something important like that. Because she's literally the most autistic person I've met, my god. Oh, now he's saying she's autistic? The hell? Which of course is beautiful to me. I think he wants people to be autistic because didn't he self-proclaimed he was? So he's projecting, no? He's projecting. I don't know how he knows. I don't know how he knows. Did he study it? Probably not. I assume he's not. He's just an armchair psychoanalyst. But I feel like I'll only ever get through if I just force her to pay attention and hold her eyeballs open and speak directly to her face while speaking very, very, very literally. Dude! The last screenshot is incredibly problematic. He said her head is empty. He enforces his own thoughts. Yeah, we came to the same conclusion. He also reveals personal info to most likely shouldn't be shared. Yes, I agree. I can only imagine what personal information he'll share about others in the future. It is incredibly unsafe, especially in the Vtuber community. You can see him talk about it, albeit censored here. I wish I could say that he's changed from 2022, but as this document proves, this is repeated behavior. Okay, pushing boundaries. He does that so much, pushing boundaries. I think that's already... And you know me, I do give a fair shake to all the Google Docs that I read. And a lot of outrage and Google Docs that we've read sometimes I feel like was a little overblown, or, you know, it was probably wrong or morally wrong, but sometimes I don't think it was worth making a Google Doc of it. But so far, I kind of agree with everything that was said. This guy's a freak. So this is another story of Anon. And Anon, she wants to remain anonymous. We don't know who she is. But this starts off incredibly aggressive. Starts with Anon. Can you please tell me why this is so difficult? It has never been an issue to get you into a collab or for you to show up to a collab or anything in general. And those are not easy things for most people. I just want to talk to you and call and hang out and do literally anything with no expectations. We can be closer friends. And I've been trying for months and it feels like you're unresponsible for the prospect. What is the barrier? Bro, if somebody's pressuring me into getting into a call with them, I'd be like, sorry, I don't use Discord. I'm too busy. So talk to my mods. Just talking about my issues has never been easy for me, like at all. It's a lot to unpack. And then when I start feeling better, I don't want to talk about it. It's an avoidance system. I'm just an awkward person. We don't even have to talk about it first. I just want to spend time with you. Over time, it will become easier. This guy wants to flirt with every girl he knows. And he only knows girls, so it's a problem. I'm not trying to tell you that I'm hot shit or anything, just from an outside in perspective. I'm picking up the vibe that your tendency to spread yourself thin for everyone, your feelings of pressure to not leave anyone out, to respond to everyone, to say hi to everyone, leaves you in a situation where the people in your life that are actively trying to help you thrive, cough cough, me, are not getting enough time with you for you to actually feel like you are cared about. Maybe I have it wrong, but it is simply a pattern I see too often. And I always kind of just leave it at that and be like, well, okay, I guess I gotta stop here. But I don't want to do that for you. So I am simply trying this new strategy of telling you this instead, because the alternative is this permanent roadblock. Oh, well, poor EvilToaster. He's such a great guy to tell this poor silly girl that she's spreading herself too thin for all her friends. But, you know, he's special. He's actually the only one of all her friends that is actively trying to help her, and she should just really give him a chance. She should really just, if she was smart, she would spend more time than him. She would spend more time with him, like, obviously. Isn't it obvious, chat? I'm starting to mold. I'm starting to be brain broken. Thoughts, and then he just spams her with emotes once a day. Okay, you're just gonna have to straight up tell me what you want from me, because I don't get it. I explained that I was going to be gone through Tuesday, Friday. I'll be real, I don't know why you're under the impression I want something from you. I think I've been clear in saying that I struggle with opening up and talk about deeper issues. Continuing to press on this matter definitely doesn't help. Oh my god, does he reply with a wall of text? No, he does. No, I understand why she didn't block him, because I also don't block people. I have a high threshold for like people being annoying, and I give people a lot of chance. So I get her. I totally get her. But god damn, he's annoying. Yeah, sorry, Deskun. I don't want you just... Okay, I'm gonna get through this, chat. I'm gonna get through this. You guys need to hold my hand. I don't want you to press you to a point where it's uncomfortable, but I haven't felt certain on where it's uncomfortable for you and where you need the repeated attention to know I'm genuinely interested in talking to you and ensuring you aren't worrying about me just being nice or anything. I don't know, he's not really being nice right now. I'm not under the impression he wants something from me. That's not what I meant. But I do want to know what you want me to do for you, because on one hand, you've expressed you're lonely and that you want to spend time with me, two feelings I reciprocate. However, it's been a struggle to get any time to try and connect with you outside of collabs, where there are more people involved. He's trying to corner her into a one-on-one conversation. You know, maybe that's why women don't feel comfortable around him. Now I understand the first paragraph better. You've admitted that you're a people pleaser. I really hope you don't feel like you have to act that way for me, because it makes it difficult to know if you're telling me things like how you want to spend time together because you're trying to be kind, opposed to saying what you might actually feel, that you're not super invested in that. You haven't struck me as a dishonest or anything towards me, but is it tough to navigate knowing this is a struggle for you? Again, I'm not trying to make you comfortable. I'm skipping that paragraph. Of course, I won't make you do anything you don't want to do. I just want to know what you want me to do for you. I want to help you, and I'm asking for direction. I know it may also be difficult for you to ask for help, and I understand the feeling of needing to feel like you can take care of things yourself. So yeah, that's what I meant by asking you. Just talk to me what you want from me. I know you've gone through a lot. I don't want to feel stuck and lonely. If you don't know what you need, it's okay. I'm trying to figure out and stay present around you, blah, 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 blah. So I guess just tell me how much help you want. If you don't know, tell me if you're okay with me trying to find out. Like I just said, I won't pressure you to do something. How many times you gotta say that? But things that are difficult to do, these still are things I want to help you have. I just don't want to end up becoming distant and going back to not talking for a year. Oh, they hadn't talked for a year? I'm sorry I haven't responded. Your message was a lot to process, and I just haven't had the mental bandwidth whatsoever. Understandable. Yeah, no pressure, but please respond. But no pressure, but honestly, I'm the best thing you've had in a while. And I care for you, unlike these other people. He's so manipulative. I understand that it's super hard. It might make you feel like an ass, but there comes a point where you need to say, I want you to leave me alone. No, totally. No, you're totally right about that. I get being reluctant to block, but this guy is literally a stalker, yo! He is the supreme milady gentleman, nice guy type. R/nice guy? That's him. Unrequired interest. That's the next chapter. So the blue cross out is Toaster telling Anon about somebody else's personal info, including their relationship, family situation, and more. It gets worse when you realize that this person brings up hugging him at a convention, which is a totally normal thing to do when people meet each other for the first time. The first thing Toaster does is escalate this to cuddling. Anon ignores this, so Toaster brings it up again, this time expressing a desire to tell him how pretty they are. So they want this person to be vulnerable and pressuring them to do so. Yeah, he feels like having people confide in him makes them bring closer, and then they would need him. He's really scared of people not needing him. I'm sorry to hear that. It's nothing worse than when you're not really sure where you stand in a relationship and things go unresolved. It's nice to get that closure. It doesn't take away from all the hurt you're going. Next year I promise to give you so many hugs at a convention. I would love to hug and cuddle you at conventions though. Did she plan on going to TwitchCon? Not this year, unfortunately. I can't afford it. That sucks at a really rough situation she was in. I'm glad that her intentions weren't malicious or anything, but it still sucks that y'all both had to go through this and not really have the relationship you both wanted. So he's venting to her about somebody else here. She's commented on that. He probably overplayed this as well. Probably said that, you know, she wanted a relationship with him. That wasn't the case. Yeah, more vent and sharing personal info about somebody else. I was looking forward to meeting you this year, honestly. I will look forward to this next year too. I would love to cuddle and tell you how pretty you are and watch the Vati or more Core 6 lore video together. You wouldn't want to watch that with me. Okay. Milkie's experience. So that's not Milky Ways, by the way. It's this Milkie. TLDR, EvilToaster bad. She commented on that. How it started in the beginning, EvilToaster, often referred in our communication as Frog or Forg, and I started as friends with strange dynamic. When we first met, we would regularly play Apex every Sunday on each other's stream together often. We would almost always do on rare occasion play trios. I just had become a streamer and Apex was one of my first video games. I had no idea how to play any games, and he offered to teach me. He was a wonderful content creator who valued his community, tried his best to spread awareness and inclusivity, and just happened to have a rough go of things due to his peculiar way of communicating and his poor interpersonal skills. Even though he was quirky, I thought he had pure intentions and was simply trying to become close friends and build bonds of friendship and camaraderie with me, which I later found out was simply not the case. Expectations. In the beginning, Frog had told me I was an unusual existence to him. He had mentioned that it was unusual for him to meet someone who was nice to him and affectionate without needing things in return. In our second conversation ever, he told me that while he didn't have a good read on me, he was overly analytical of me from the beginning. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say you're a person who would appreciate an honesty and being upfront, especially since you're kind of prompting me to talk about things on our first actual conversation, knowing full well there's a kind of warmth behind the answers to the how are you question. Did she ask how are you and he just like trauma dumped on her? So I'm thinking just someone very interested in people and value connection, communications overall being genuine. Does that sound accurate? Don't take it the wrong way. I get overly analytical towards everyone. Just usually I don't tell them what I'm analyzing until like, I don't know, a week. He informed me on call in various ways that he was emotionally distant and would treat me differently than other friends. He informed me he was going through traumas. He was unlikely to be able to properly interact with me while he figured out how to connect with people. He would reiterate how he wasn't able to treat me like he treated others and how he recognized the way he treated me wasn't what I deserved, but he had no intention of changing his behavior. I'll be here for you. Oh my god, this person seems heavy. I appreciate that. I'm starting to think you deserve better than me. What does that mean? I think I'm a pretty pog friend, but I think you deserve... Okay. He would constantly bring up how he was dealing with various things, and that the platonic affection, comfort, and kindness showed him was desired and appreciated. However, regardless of the joys I brought him, he would still treat me worse than a standard person. I'm not a good friend, but I'm pretty pog. I'm an open book. No, you're not an open book, EvilToaster. You like writing books. Trauma essay incoming. I'm currently being affected by some long-standing trauma from previous relationship and also my family. Heavily exacerbated by new traumatic event that just started to unfold a couple days. It's censored. All that stuff kind of hitting all at once. It's a problem because it makes it difficult to want to connect with people. I'm really outgoing. However, in the last few months or so, I would have had much more express... my love I have for everyone, my friends, is currently faded out. If I seem cold to you, that would be why. But in addition to that, it is also a problem because me knowing just how people work and how I work, a genuine connection beyond the surface is something I need right now. Really, we all need it at the time, right? That's just how humans are. But having the cognitive dissonance between needing it and being afraid of is stressful. So when you asked to call last night, it gave me so much comforting sentiment. It took the time out of your busy Hollywood schedule to read to me. My mind was racing. Honestly, and through no fault of your own, of course, it was difficult to enjoy it. I tried really hard to just be in the moment and think, wow, she's so sweet. But there were alarms and alerts going off. How I need to be careful because anyone tried to connect me outside would be another source of future pain identical to what I'm feeling now. I tend to think I have a good relationship with those emotions and my trauma. It's not going away anytime soon. But I also know what it is, how to reason with it, and where it's wrong. How it's wrong here because... Oh no, sorry. I know it's wrong here because there is no threat to me and there is no danger. You're not doing anything wrong, but I want to express to you that my brain is struggling to accept it. There's a decent chance you don't even need it because when you offered to read to me, you made it explicitly clear it was because you wanted to selfishly have a good relationship with selfish emotions, and I don't see it as something bad. But the point is, it's both something I appreciate and would be happy to receive more of you, but just expect it may not be particularly receptive or appreciative of it as I normally would be. He's playing that whole like tough love card. I'm closed off. I feel like he wants her to work for it a little more, or he wants her to be like, I'll be here for you no matter what, etc, etc. I know you don't really have a frame of reference for it. Okay, I'm just gonna say blah 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 and move on. I'm taking mental damage. Okay, I'm not gonna read. All he does is repeat himself, so I'm not gonna read any more of his repetitive stuff. I'll just read her answer. You're prescient. I appreciate you. I analyze a lot. I'm really happy to know that you understand your emotions and how to process them. And while I understand and changing how you feel are different, I'm proud of you for recognizing your thoughts and behaviors and understanding them. You're a friend of my friend, and you've been nothing but lovely to me, so of course I want nothing but the best for you. I'll read to you anytime. I'll just chat about whatever with you. Doesn't matter how cold or analytical you are right now. Until you tell me you want me to stop expressly, and I won't stop. Times are hard, but you don't have to go through this alone. I just wanted to be supportive. I was naive. I got to know him. I know the struggle is trying to form genuine connections to people and difficulties associated with navigated trauma. And at the time I was alright with him being a little more distant with me while we were new to one another. However, that temporary distance quickly shifted into him treating me far differently than he initially did. Oh no, he is incredibly manipulative. You're right, Reiko. I mean, he's setting up the relationship to be like, no one else has treated me that way. So there is just, he's putting so much pressure on this single person to make him better. How are you? I've missed you. I feel a little shaky, but I also wanted to ease my mind. Okay. I'm out walking, but we can chat and call a bit. Walking home. We haven't really been talking, we're hanging out, and I know that when we met, you were in a weird spot. You were more closed off, you communicated, I made you treat me worse than you usually would, and it made you feel weird. But like recently it's gotten even more prominent that like you don't seem to treat me like your other friends. Like I feel like I pour in a lot more percentage wise into our friendship, and it makes me feel like you don't care if we are friends. Like I try to reach out and play and hang out, but then you always talk about people not reaching out, or you having to be the one to always make the plans. I'm like, hello, I reach out, I tried. And you say you don't really have friends and feel lonely, but I'm like bending over to try and be your friend. I'm making myself super available when I have a tight schedule. It just doesn't feel good. And I want to make sure you did want to be friends and maybe just address these things. People can't change or recognize behavior if you aren't aware of it. So I wanted to be able to discuss it with you. That's weird. I feel like that is opposite of everything that he's acting to people. Is it because he's playing into this headcanon that she's chasing him and he's not that invested? I don't think I've ever said no playing to you. A lot of the time when this happened, like so many people, someone expressed interest and I reciprocate, but sometimes it just falls through the crack. A lot of the time when I'm the one initiate, I'll like figure out when to do the thing while I still have their attention, otherwise people will forget. Last week you did ask to play, caught me at an unfortunate time where it was possible, and I told you to get on Apex, so if it's not an issue of me not wanting to, things are just more complicated, especially when things are left up to, we should X sometime. I recognize that you pour more into the friendship, putting that out to both so you were aware, to make sure you were okay with that. You said you did it because you wanted to for yourself without expectation and took your word for that. Things are definitely different for me, and it's not really your fault. Things are just happening. A lot of my spare time right now I spent introspecting and processing everything related to, barred out, name. Currently treating the connection I have, they are growing closer. And then everything related to work stream, I'm behind on as well. So I end up spending more time with the people that come to me and grab my attention. So then I'm left with the few people who do decide to reach out to me on their own, and realize that it's a pretty small percentage of all the people I know that expressed interest interacting with me. And now I'm stressed about connections. I don't know if you caught any wind of it, but Anon has recently cut ties with me. We're not friends anymore. It was a bit of a shock. I've also been learning about other friends I've had become distant with, and learning they've quietly been intentionally distancing from me because of things they've heard from other people without ever talking to me about it. And I'm positive there are more people doing the same recently. And so just important thing to understand about loneliness and isolation is just that it's not a measure of actually how many people are around me. Like, I talk to people every day, but how many am I actually connecting with? How many people do I actually get to see? Currently, it's like maybe one person a week. Maybe not even always the same person. There's so much going on in my mind. I don't get to share. It's tough to really meet people on a level that can be discussed. I can't expect that of everyone. I understand what you're saying, but I wanted to touch on some point. Nowhere in this did you validate what I said at all, but downplayed it and explained it away. I understand what you're saying, but it's still, a lot of it is very valid. I think I'll touch on the initial way I felt reading it first. I know you haven't said no to playing with me outright, but when I do make plans, you usually say you don't have things scheduled and can't agree to plans. So if I try to make plans like on Sundays like we used to, you don't agree, and then we don't. I also have the concern that when we do agree, I'm never sure you'll actually be there on time, since you've bumped our play schedule a few times because you're prioritizing other people's schedule and time over mine. I get it, but it's not nice. The whole thing about being okay with it initially is two things. One, things change, and I think it's important to communicate when thoughts or feeling change. Maybe it was okay at first, but it isn't now. I do think that for me, in our case, you've changed in how you're treating me. Before, I was okay with it because you treated me different than you do now. We used to play and chat and still hang out. We had totally different interactions from what we do now. There is even more disregard, and I strongly feel that if I stopped reaching out and try to make plans, we wouldn't. It seems like you fill your time with people you deem to be worth more of your effort and energy. That's not a very pleasant feeling. I wonder if it's got to do with like her sub count, because this person seems really EvilToaster seems really focused on like ladder climbing. If things are happening, we are friends, I want you to feel like you can talk about it. When you said so, I end up spending more time with the people that come to me and grab my attention. Is he just keeping her as a B plan? Maybe that's what it is. That hurts because saying that me talking to you isn't as worthwhile as when others talk to you. Like, it's okay to ignore me or deprioritize me. I understand that people are leaving your life and that can be really hard to deal with, but like, wouldn't you want to treat the people in your life better so they don't leave too? These are my initial thoughts. The frog has a tendency to invalidate thoughts and a feeling of those expressing a different opinion than his own. He had complained about feeling he didn't matter to anyone, and he was just being used by others. There was a Vtuber show in which he and a mutual friend were both on the show, and he felt the people invited to the show weren't actually his friends, and it unfairly balanced the show in his mutual favor. He expressed that people never reach out to him and how they will talk to him on the show, but not privately. This person really seeks validation. EvilToaster, I mean. I don't know who was on the show, but what happened, but like, if people want to reach out to you, they will. We can't make them, and we can't really change how they are. If they only reach out and interact in the public eye, and when it's for content, then that's very disingenuous and like putting on a show. Not saying this is exactly the case, but if someone only talks to you or interacts with you publicly and for their benefit, then usually that means they don't care very much. What? The assessment was something. How was your day? I mean, like, I have problems with that. It's the way I view interaction like that usually. I thankfully don't have those, since people who want to interact with me do so, not just on streams. Why does my opinion cause problems for you? If they want, they will. Perception is self-sabotaging in many ways, for one. And also, it's just like not doing justice to other people. But also, that was just like a lot to say when you also said you don't know who was on the show or what happened. So now he's upset by her response. And I guess it was like kind of examining the dynamic I'm talking about, but from a completely different angle that I wasn't speaking on. I wasn't saying they were only interacting with me for content or publicity, because that definitely was not the case. If it were, they would probably be interacting with me more. It's way more complicated than that. He's very condescending to her. It wasn't related to the person, but rather the action. I was just sharing my thoughts on your sentence, but they'll come to a game show for me, but not talk to me, and you ask for me to elaborate. That's all. Would you like to say how your day has been? Does the if they want to, they will perception apply to me for you? if you want to reach out to me, you will, right? I reach out to you too because I want to. It's how friendship lasts. We mutually communicate. It's always more complicated than that. If I want to, I won't, so will everyone else. In fact, the majority of people... See, this is his problem. It's because he thinks people don't say what they mean to... They don't mean what they say. That's why he's so pushy with other people. He's probably a no means yes kind of guy. The fact the majority of people I know right now are people who want to reach out but do not. That's kind of the problem I'm talking about. I'm not really open to discussing my viewpoint on this, but I'll keep it in mind for you. You don't like talking about these things. I seldom do, and I'm not really wanting to have a conversation about my opinion on matters right now. It can be really emotionally and mentally taxing having to explain myself. Just not a thing I enjoy. I'm not really talking about it to make any commentary about you specifically. I'm just talking about people. And this particular subject was the subject I was talking about last night. It's the thing I have problems with in relating and connecting with people. I'm not saying any of that because I'm attacking your viewpoint. It's just the things I was talking about. Of course, we don't have to talk about it regardless. You confuse me. How? You confuse me, bro. Why? You always ask like if I've eaten or if you can help me, or say like you're proud of me for saying and offering me things. Yes, I care about you. Why though? Why? Oh my god, why is he's going on an emo arc now? Why do I care about you? Why do I ask those things? Ask because I care. You deserve to be cared for. I feel like you're authentic. I don't know, man. I act on whims. I like you to avoid, just that simple. I figured out the problem here. I feel like it feels like the problem is you're not used to people caring about you. I mean, you're not wrong about that statement. How you feeling? Stressed? What's on your mind? Goils. Goals or girls? Girls, I think I'm lonely. Ooh, I'm still in bed. I gotta get up, but I don't wanna yet. You're exhausted. Come nap with me. I have a small headache. I crawl into bed, but I need to go cook. What should I eat? PB banana smoothie. Oh, that's actually pretty good. I like peanut butter banana smoothies. Salad and seared chicken or tuna. Wait, all that sounds good. Answers, I can't yet. I miss you too, but I gotta get out of bed because you won't get in it. I want you to lay down with me and I can play with your pretty hair. There's some heavy flirting here. So he says that he had difficulties connecting to others. He expressed that he wants to distance himself. He feels that it stems from a lack of being cared and loved for, but he struggles to accept platonic, and I do stress purely platonic friendships. He would constantly complain about the lack of love and affection in his life and how lonely he was, while making inappropriate comments. He would express his desire to be affectionate with me that I would deflect or ignore. Thank you. You don't need to thank me ever. Would you come cuddle and make out with me before bed? I gotta release the oxytocin. Is this the right drug? It's a hormone. It strengthened labor contraction. What are you expecting? I'm like half aware, so I'm gonna pass out. Good night, cutie. It's a hormone. You don't have to answer if you don't want to, but it seems like you crave love and affection and intimacy in your life. What do you feel like you're doing, or what's different about you to these people that allows them to have it but keeps you from having it? Literally no clue other than being in the right place at the right time, I guess. He likes to express negative emotion to feel a comfort at it. What? The song in question, fun song. It's also about the funny idea of feeling those awful feelings and situations are so familiar and frequent that it seems even comforting. Do you want to watch it together sometime if you're down to rewatch? Maybe. It may be weird because I literally just started rewatching it with the woman who just closed me off from romance a few days ago, which caused my current spiral pain and agony. Which now I don't even know if we'll continue it or when we do. I'm proud of you. Thank you. I wonder how much of the pain is specifically not having Anne and around to be my comfort and outlet of affection, and how much of the pain is just not having any outlet at all. Not to mention the fact of just like having her for a moment and then not. Desire just superseded by another stronger desire after the first was satisfied. The feeling going from not knowing what you wanted before and not having such a painful longing, then after experiencing it for a short time, then having to go on longing for even more. Even though nothing about these 2 points in time before and after are different, it's just now you had a taste and wanting more makes it life harder. I had a day filled with talking to some friends about their struggles in their relationship and self-worth. It went really well, and I shared a lot of perspective that made them realize things that I helped them stop hating themselves for things that aren't their fault, and how to communicate with their partner in a way that respects themselves and have healthier relationship. And after that I was just like, wow, I would be a great partner in a relationship. Dude, he's such an r/nice guy. He's such a nice guy, but not the right kind, man. Frog, guess what? What? It's not that you're cute, but you are. but it's not it, lol. I decided something. I decided I love you, you mean a lot to me, and platonically you're so fucking special and cool. Shouldn't the platonically be I love you and not the special and cool? You're special and cool platonically though, not in real life. Sorry, I get to replies I was getting ready for bed and freaking out over being on time for the event. I'm grateful you feel that way, and I'll do my best to handle how you feel with care and not to hurt you and all that. You have also been a refreshing experience. I feel very comfortable with you. I think in the current moment my attention is being pulled in many directions. I don't know if I can give you the same focus as you may deserve, but I'm sure you're very understanding of that. Yes, don't sweat to me. I don't give affection for the sake of receiving it back as it is, you know? I'm here to do whatever, lol. I appreciate you and I hope tomorrow goes well, cutie. I'm proud of you. I guess she just wanted to support him because he always complains about not being loved. His affectionate attitude towards me would shift between warm and affectionate and making mildly inappropriate comments and remarks toward me. While the screenshot is not inherently concerning, this was one of my most traumatic interactions with Frog. He was a well-versed in tech support and would often help with his friends, their routing systems, and other tech things. We got into a voice call and he had me share my screen and explain to him what was wrong with OBS. I'm not tech savvy, and while I struggled to find words for what was wrong, every time he would express what it could be, like compression for example, he would have me Google compression and actively read the definition aloud to him, and then he would ask me if that was what I meant. And if it was, he would then have me try to Google how to fix it, even though I had already elaborated that I had. So we clicked through the guides I had already read, and he had me read them out loud while questioning me in berating and belittling way. I expressed to him I wasn't aware of how to fix it, and that this method of me reading out loud what I had already read wasn't helping. He was incredibly condescending and was demeaning to me. He eventually helped me figure out how to adjust the numbers in OBS after I started crying when he was telling me how easy it was and how I should be able to figure it out. Throughout all of this, he was just horrible to me. Jeez! Couldn't figure out the filters in OBS, but I'm having a blast in Apex. Gain and compressor. Yeah, but like, I know how to add them, but I don't know what to do to adjust them. Like the numbers. She wants to gauge the numbers. It is complicated. I've had a lot of mic issues. You need to do a lot of testing and it's frustrating. Well, you know what the end goal is, right? To BH, I'm not sure, just so people aren't too soft or loud. Yeah, that's it. That's the goal. Make it quieter, voice louder, and louder, voice quieter. Yeah, but I don't know how to move the numbers to reach that. Compression. What do you normally do when you're at this point with figuring something out you don't understand yet? I tried Googling it. It didn't make sense, so either I'll say I'll never know this mystery in life, or I'll ask someone, would you mind helping me with filters if you get a moment? Lastly, I want to elaborate on something that has come to my attention through the creation of this document. I have never and would never take a romantic or sexual interest in Frog. I'm a very affectionate person. In terms of endearment, are not unusual for me, and the affection I express is the same affection I express to everyone. The message I have sent using positive terms and the same terms I use for everyone, and I could never be taken as anything beyond platonic. Since it was well known to EvilToaster that I communicated to everyone this way unilaterally. Wow. They put bait hard words for me to pronounce in there. They knew I was going to read this document. Throughout our entire history and even interaction, I have been nothing but purely platonic and tried to act in the most sincere way towards them. Our shower call was a regular occurrence between myself and my friends. I have a large shower where part of it will always be dry, thus it's normal for me to be on call while showering and just being silly with how hard it is to hear one another and laugh about the echo. No cams were on. There was never anything lewd or sexual on my part. All of this suggestive comment at the time I took our simple playfulness from someone who didn't know how to properly communicate affection, and I thought I was him trying to open up to me. It is absolutely appalling to me to see how he misconstrued our dynamic to others and how he suggested the possibilities of more with me while treating me so coldly and horribly. He alluded to such a different dynamic to others. In hindsight, it's such a shame it took so much for me to distance myself from him, and that I allowed him to treat me in this way for as long as he did. In my last year of Vtubing, I've come to respect myself a lot more, and I won't let this happen ever again. I hope others won't be put through the same experience through this document. I hope they can love themselves. I hope that others won't be put through the experience I was. I hope they can love themselves enough to know their worth and not be treated this way while trying to build such a one-sided friendship while being sexualized, used for inflating egos, and demeaned. While these experiences are my own, I know many friends who have similar and grossly uncanny experience with EvilToaster. She did go above and beyond for him. Although some of the wording she used, I can see how somebody like him would get the wrong idea, even though she does use it to everybody. I mean, if you're a girl and you say that to a guy, he's probably gonna take the wrong idea. So I'd say, like, maybe just don't use those words unless you're actually flirting. It sucks that you can, but listen, if you're a content creator, you gotta take the ninja approach. Just never be alone with the opposite gender. Just never be alone with the opposite gender. Always have somebody else there. No, when you say I love you, I care about our friendship, yes, of course. But I mean, from what he's saying to her and stuff, I want to play with your hair. I want you to lay down with me, get in bed and all of that. It's like, come on. Yeah, he's gonna latch on to that. He'll latch on to anything, just true. He would have latched on to a hello. True. I think, yeah, I think it's probably a stronger disclaimer to say I love you as a friend than saying I love you platonically, because platonically is kind of like up in the air, like I'm like e-relationship. I don't know. He could still develop feelings. Imagine being a Twitch ambassador to making a terrible thing and having a career sniped by dog after that. Just so you know, I'm not trying to victim blame or anything. It's just, and I get that it's difficult to be clear about things and say no, because there was a time where I also had trouble saying no. And most people want you to be this really nice and proper person that, you know, is never saying mean things and never upsets. But sometimes being, and that's why I made it very clear that my personality was very blunt, so I don't have to do this anymore. And I can finally express myself the way that I've always wanted to. But you know what? It's caused so much less problem for me to just be upfront about stuff now. And it also probably comes with age. It also comes with the kind of friend groups you hang out with. But for sure, I wouldn't be playfully talking with somebody saying, yo, come lay down with me, yo, let's cuddle and stuff like that. Unless I was trying to pursue them. It's kind of weird. Is it the whole EvilToaster shenanigans all just cruel kindness incarnate? Well, he has problems. The other parts did not do themselves any justice. Some of the girls are pretty bad at setting boundaries, but being bad at setting boundaries isn't something bad. Okay, I can think of another word here. I can do it. It's not them being creeps, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, okay, they're bad at setting boundaries, but that's not a big flaw. That's just them being too nice. Being too nice can have its, like, con, which is other people abusing your boundaries and abusing your trust, but it's not necessarily a huge character flaw like what EvilToaster is doing. Yeah, it doesn't make you a bad person. Thank you. That's what I'm trying to get. That's what I'm trying to say. Reading this is slowly sucking my energy and I can't speak now. Being too nice isn't an invitation to take advantage of you. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would just stick with being more reserved with somebody that I don't want them to get the wrong impression at all. Like, I would just try to completely be closed off. So this is Sierra's note. Cece, the person writing the doc. I don't want to say that Milkie tried her absolute hardest to be a good friend to Toaster. I believe she went above and beyond to make him feel cared for. Yeah, I agree. She did go above and beyond. And no, he definitely wants more than that. I hate tweets like that. I hate it. I can't handle this anymore, man. I'm so tired of being the person that gets my friends to stop being so terrified of my other friends just for them. All to start being better friends without me and do nothing to include me. I'm literally guiding everyone to the thing I can't have. Every convention is another reminder that I'm not, I've seen this tweet, that I'm not one of the girlies, and I'm never gonna be the kind of treatment and affection they give each other even though I try to connect with them. It's gotten better at dealing with the fact over time, but it still hurts to think about it. So what do people expect when they tweet stuff like that? They want their friends or the people he's subtweeting to notice him and be like, oh my god, EvilToaster, I saw your tweet. Are you okay? Is this about X and X? Like, or is it about me? Like, what can I do to make you feel better? That's what they want. He always tries to force other people to come to him instead of making them come to him on their own because he's a good person. He's entertaining to be around, etc., etc., whatever qualities you want to have in a friend. Yeah, meanwhile, Milkie is doing exactly that. She's including him in everything. It's such a slap in the face to see that. I hate that. One time I actually checked, and no jokes, less than 5% of VTubers in my friend list have online enabled. The status means nothing to me anymore. Crazy thing, I still don't get DM'd ever, even with a green light and putting please DM me in my status, so it doubly means nothing. I'm just gonna shake my head and keep on going. Kaisa's note. Hello, my name is Kaisa, otherwise known as Red Song 01. To most, I was an active apex VTuber in the scene. To others, I'm a villain that sided with EvilToaster's abuser. And an experience he continues to share. Okay, I don't know about this EvilToaster abuser thing, which at this point has been proven several times false, a mischaracterization of events and my persona. I share my thoughts and screenshots not to take light from those with more severe accounts, but to supplement and validate the consistency of his action when interacting with others, primarily those of femme presentation. I did not have direct boundaries events with toasters, but I witnessed how he spoke about others, misconstruing events, denied being wrong, diagnosis other with autism or ADHD, and how he ignored my advice regarding said things. It wasn't until he realized I could not be manipulated or commanded to his will that he had all the issues with me. So while I didn't face the brunt of his uncomfortable behavior, I did find my experience in the VTuber community directly affected by him, TLDR, because I did not drop someone he fell out with. Toaster branded me as someone who sides with abuse or sympathizes with abusers. That's the part I read. Okay, I think we're getting to the part I read, and I think that part says so much about him. For a time, I had generally anxiety when venturing into the new VTubing space, and on occasions broke down under the weight. The idea of being ostracized. Dude, that's the idea of being ostracized is probably content creators' biggest fear. In my career, stifled killed because a person of Toaster's high standing was heavily mischaracterizing me, damaged my mental health. And I know he spoke about me because I've had several people tell me they initially avoided me because of Toaster. Well, after I had broken ties with him, I'd like to reiterate that I had nothing to do with this event. The only thing I did wrong was that I didn't do what he asked at the drop of a hat. To conclude, Toaster hadn't been the most truthful, whether out of ignorance or malice. Especially if it's for their own gain. They believe their thoughts and words stand true. Anything that doesn't align with them is stupid, false, aren't worth their time. I believe their feelings of anxiety and pressure to be true and support not only those that spoke up against Toaster, but those that still fear what they could say should they speak against them. That person is based, by the way. She like stands up for herself really hard, and I was impressed by how she expresses herself. Like, look at that chat. What's up? I'm conflicted about what to do tomorrow. Why? What's up? You were playing with censored name. Why does that conflict with what I'm about to do tomorrow? Because I don't know if I'm able to get off that mind. Well, I'll be there either way. What? The way you sound is not sure you want to play with me. And then he replies, I don't know if I'd be comfortable with it. I explained what went down with Anon and I, right? Like, in full detail. Kaisa replies, kinda, sorta. I know you mentioned, like, emotional manipulation or something, but I don't know about the whole deeds. Just you and Anon have cut ties and all. Like, Anon being really strong-headed, and he corrects her. Abusive, like, emotionally and verbally towards us both with his fucking passive, smiling frog emote. I hate that. I explained how she was abused before, but I'm not currently certain how seriously you took me then. So now he's implementing the doubt, like, you didn't believe me when I told you about my traumatic events. Kaisa replies, I read back on what she told me since I remember you typed part of it out. I'm sorry you had to deal with that. I think what happened was that I took it all as y'all just having a specific yet key difference that ultimately tumbled out in the worst possible way. And I do take you seriously. I may not understand the full extent of it, but your feelings and experiences are valid. So again, I apologize if it doesn't seem like I'm acknowledging that. Before, when you told me that you cut ties with Anon, I didn't realize you were asking me to do the same. So I'm kind of processing what to do is all. But like, don't take that as me taking sides, because TBH, I don't know if this is really something I can take sides on, you know, since I wasn't involved in any of this stuff. As for stuff I can speak on, though, I know you mentioned that you worried about whether there being safe spaces for you when she's around, and I can promise that I do my best to protect your space in my corner. Okay? Even if she passes by and all of that. Kaisa, smiley face. Yes, hello. We're gonna have to talk about this eventually. Bro, you're the one that didn't reply to her last few messages. I don't get it. We can talk about it now if you like, she replies. Or after stream, whatever that works. I'm here to listen, assuming you're still playing tonight. If we're not, then I understand too. Your call here. He's like, I'll need more times to collect bots, so another time. If I stream, I'll make some other plans, but I can't make this collab. Okay, I'll be there, heart. Hello, check it in. Are you ready to talk? What do you want to talk about? I'm following up on this. All right, I can try. Okay, I'm here. Oh God, yeah, I remember this. Ah, shit, here we go again. To give you the full context of this, of why this is affecting, I also want to reiterate quickly how things were before I got into this circle of friends. So, chat, note how manipulative this response is. I'm pretty sure I went in depth about it with you multiple times, but did not have many friends or was included in friend circles very often in life, and even more rarely were those friends and circles made up of women. And prior to VTubing, I basically was not allowed to have women as friends in my previous relationships. Therefore, I had to completely rebuild my perception of myself because I had no close friend with to understand myself through. Entered the VTubing era. The first 3 major new friends I made were you, Anon, and Nia, the people I would talk to every day and learn about. You 3 were the foundation of my new perception of friendship and socializing, and determining what about myself as a person is valuable and acceptable on a fundamental level, because I had nothing going on into this. Therefore, when people like you 3 express that you value me and feel that I'm important, I have no frame of reference for just how much that means, so naturally, I had to take it at face value. I learned then that I was valued by my friends and that I was important. So from then on, the foundation of how I saw myself was based on that. Because I knew I was valued by people who to me seemed like the most amazing people I've ever known. So it's like, he's making a mountain of his friendship with this person. Like his whole self-validation, his whole self is based on whether this person, on this person's friendship towards him. I wasn't afraid to be social and be around people. I feel like it was okay for me to be here. Finally, that paragraph up here is what I feel is being threatened when this situation comes into play. Because I took the appraisal of importance at face value, I then referenced that with what I believe it means to appreciate an important friend. I think about what I would do for them. So here in this situation, completely putting aside for now the fact that one of those important pillars of my new self-perception ended up being manipulative and abusive. Now another one of those pillars, you see that I was treated as badly as I was, and sees this more as a problem to contain rather than a problem to solve. Because in my frame of reference, if someone did this to one of my friends, that abusive friend would not hear the end of it from me until they either left the circle entirely or somehow managed to find some way to make amends, if that was even considered an option by the person they abused. So he's telling her exactly how he wants him to cut tie with his quote-unquote abuser. Now, if the person was particularly awful to him, I would understand that. But from what will surface later on, Kaisa says that she hasn't actually seen like real evidence of abuse. So we'll see. Who would have thought covering the internet drama makes you read more stuff than Similarian plus the Hololive plus 3 Lord of the Ring books? Yeah, I know, dude. Yes, he's super gaslighting. With that ideal, surely you can understand how you approach unsettles me. When I first told you about it, it seemed nothing actually came out of it, and you and Anon continue to relate to this issue now where I'm questioning why. Then when I try to explain this discomfort again, you tell me that when I first told you, you didn't consider it as serious as it was for me, which then just makes me question how seriously I'm being perceived in the first place when I tell someone I was being abused. You're setting up the perception that if she doesn't side with him, if she doesn't ostracize this other friend from the friend group, then she is not believing his abuse, or she's not taking him seriously as a friend, or he's not important at all. So the double serving of shaking the fundamental ideas that gave me the social freedom to make friends and feel comfortable around people, from both being shown that me stating that I was hurt was not seen serious, and also being shown that if I was hurt by someone, their continued inclusion in the circle valued higher. Sorry, I made a mistake. Their continued inclusion in the circle is valued higher than my safety and comfort within the circle. So they're choosing the other person over him. Is doing a lot of damage for my own self-perception. and has me questioning who my friends are and who I can trust. If Kaisa said she loves me and sees me as an important friend, but didn't take any serious action after being told I was hurt by her friends, and is valuing said abuser's comfort over my own comfort, then what do those words and sentiments mean for me? Do I need to change my frame of reference? Do I need to not accept love? That's the situation I'm right now, and when I think about this, it has affected me because I was nearly breaking down over these thoughts during a collab with Zen and Nia the other day. Thankfully today was fine. Also, I'd like to think it's implied, but in case I'm not putting blame on you for me having these pre-existing conditions myself, I did tell you were important in that regard, but I didn't convey the depth of it. That is such manipulative behavior. It's like, they'll make you feel guilty so you can never break off this friendship, or something horrible will happen to them. They only have you in life. I believe in supporting other and helping people that probably don't have the same start or aren't necessarily equipped with the same things you've had. But I think the basis of my philosophy is that everyone first needs to take care of themselves, and then if they have remaining energy and the resources to, they can help another. But everybody needs to be somewhat self-sufficient at the core for society to function properly. Now, of course, we have like all these other systems in place to help people that are, you know, in less good situation than us. That's why we got welfare and all these things. That's why, for example, like we have medical assistance here in Canada. I know for you guys it's different. And I'm okay with that system. But at the core, everybody should try to be their best to be self-sufficient. But I love her response. It was so well written. Since you took the time to reiterate your feelings and thought process going into all of this, let me go ahead and review mine. Basically confirm, deny things you have stated. Okay, so she starts by saying, I remember you said entering the VTubing scene and making the friends you did was beneficial to you and your growth. I remember you stating that you came from a rough background prior. And I remember expressing how happy I was for you to find people that give you the love and validation you deserve. Because you do deserve that. I'll be one of the first to tell and even drill that into you. You are deserving of love. I, however, do not remember you going in depth into how Anon abused you. Like I mentioned in our previous conversation, I looked up our chat log and reread what you told me, and you never gave me past examples. You just told me how you viewed her values and thought processes, and one example of her pressuring you to transition. Now I understand why you were rightfully angered and hurt that she constantly pressured you like that. However, at no level, or at least of my personal ones, of reasoning is the act of pressuring you considered abuse to me. It is conflict, yes, but not abuse. And I place an incredibly high value on understanding what is and isn't abuse, and whether it is getting overstated, which I feel is what you did here. God damn it, she's incredibly based for that. And really brave saying it like that to somebody that seems like they're just gonna go off the fly at any second. Understand, this isn't an invitation nor demand to go in depth. I'm not asking to pry into your trauma. What hurts you, and I respect that. All I'm saying is that based on what you have shared with me, I did not read it as abuse to me. That's all. So here's what unsettles me about all of this. I was never involved in what went down between you and Anon, and I'm so completely removed from it. Even if I am friends with the both of you, that does not automatically involve me. I was never there for the fights you guys had, nor the treatment you endured. Was it hurtful and traumatic for you? Yes, and I get that completely, and I respect and validate your hurt, as I've said before, but why are you trying to drag me into this? Because the only indication I have of her being abusive is just your word of mouth. And I need you to understand this next statement. Okay, I really like this part though, that she's gonna say. I need you to understand this next statement. The level of trust I have in you, I have in other people. So I can't just cut ties with someone on word alone, even if I am friends with said person, because again, I am friends with the both of you, and those friendships were based and built on over separate experiences. To cut someone off based on what someone else said would be disrespect to my own thoughts, feelings, and personal. You think this is an issue of you being devalued or disrespected, but I think it's the other way around. in that you're letting your hurt not just speak for you, but for everyone else. But you just can't push your feelings and personal experiences on others. You can't just generalize one experience to speak for all of them. Just because something didn't work out for you, it doesn't give you the right to speak for others or tell them how to act or think. And that's where I have to draw the line, because you can't do that, Toaster. You just can't tell others how to act based on your own experience. Also, I just want to say it's wild as hell that you're saying I am valuing said abuser comfort over your own comfort and not caring about you enough, etc. If I didn't care and give as much of a shit about you as I do, you think I've said that I'd protect your space, or that I'd be sitting here for 2 and 3 hours trying to articulate why I acted the way I did? I tried to explain why your line of reasoning is problematic and straight up hurtful, because I want you to know that I wouldn't have bothered to type all of this if I truly didn't care about you, Lamau. That is true. If you don't care about somebody, you just stop replying. If you argue with somebody and you kind of care. And he never replies to her after that, by the way. He's just completely flag or blasted Uno reversed card on. I understand you'd hurt more like if I continued to try to put you all in the same room or something. She didn't even try to collab with the two of them, by the way. They collabed on 2 separate occasions, and he got upset about that. And she was going to continue her friendship with him, but he doesn't want that. He wants her to cut the other friend off. She says, I'll protect my space with you. She's not going to come in. Any question or response? Well, seeing you're not giving me any indication, you tend to continue this conversation. I'll be taking my leave here. Take care, Toaster. Wish you the best. And before you spiral about this, if you even still care about what I have to say, I'm not exiting this friendship because I'm consoling Anon or whatever else you tell yourself to shift the blame. Damn! I'm exiting this because I no longer wish to put up with this behavior and how you're treating me. And I no longer wish to see how you're treating those you consider close to you. And in case anyone hasn't said this to you yet, then I'll unfortunately be the first. She's about to lay it up on him. And damn! No one who matters, at least, treats you differently based on your presented male gender. They act different because you refuse to respect where everyone's personal boundaries lie. You consistently ignore everyone's opinion and viewpoints if they do not match your own, and rather than listen, you prioritize vouching how much yours is right, even if you're in the wrong or just different. You also have this tendency where you think you have everyone figured out, and how you let your assumptions hold true, and really it's up to the person how they want to act or speak around you or others. You respect everyone until they hurt you or aren't aligned with you, and then all that respect for their views and thoughts go out the window. Because you let that pain blind you from realizing that people are people with their own thoughts, their own boundaries, their own viewpoints, and just because it's different, it doesn't mean it's wrong. Morality is a lot grayer than you make it out to be, and until you realize that sort of behavior is harmful, then I don't see any reason you put up with it. Generally, I'm sorry. And again, I'm not saying to just blindly attack your character and be like, I tell you this, because at the end of the day, I care, and as a friend, I care. I want to bring it to your attention so that maybe one day you'll come to the realization, rather than have everyone you thought was close to you slowly distance themselves one by one because they don't have the heart nor energy to tell you, like I did now. Damn! Somebody stop her, she's cooking too hard! She's awesome. Who is this girl? No, she's awesome. She's right about everything, and she kind of had a really good perception. I don't know if she talked to other girls, and she knows why they distance themselves, but like all the creepy behavior and all of him's whining, saying he can't be one of the girlies, she was like, no, that's not because you're a guy. That's literally because you make them uncomfortable. And she told him what was his problem was. Now it's up to him to actually change his personality and change his way to adapt to fit in a group or society. But I don't know if he will. We'll see. Most people that complain a lot, I found out that they don't actually want to help themselves. And they're very heavy to carry. It's almost impossible to carry them, to BH. That's why most of the time people just don't have the energy to tell you what's wrong with you if you do have an issue. Because most problems have figured out that it's just not worth it, because very little people will like realize that it's hurtful to the relationship because it causes tension, and most people aren't ready to face their flaws, so it's just not worth it. most of the time. Oh, she's on an indefinite hiatus? Really? Yeah, I'm legit impressed she bothered with all of that. I mean, I do that sometimes too, but every time I do it, I'm like, why do I even bother? It's not worth it. I should just stick to my lane. Stop caring. Announce 2 experience. There's another one. Another instance where he pushed someone's boundaries. Jesus, there's so many. Donuts are flawless. Anon 2 was part of a friend group which included Toaster and Friend, except they came into disagreement with each other and were not on speaking terms. At this time, Anon 2 didn't feel the need to take sides. Toaster knew that they were still in contact with each other and knew that the friend would visit Anon's 2 stream and tried to control that aspect. Didn't you tell her not to come? I try not to shout her out, gonna talk to her again. Oh, he's so manipulative when he sets this up. Oh, it's this part. But you told her not to come, right? Like, what did you say exactly? She responds, I try to keep it civil, but I guess something happened. What? No, what did you tell her before stream? He's trying to corner her. To keep it civil, just give some space, gonna talk to her again about not coming in when you're here. Sorry, Toasty, what? But you told me you told her not to come. Did you just not? Yeah, I'm gonna talk to her if it was communicated properly though. Worried I'm bad at communication part. What did you say exactly to her? Dude, I feel like this guy's questioning her like Piers Morgan does in his interview. It's so fucking annoying. This is the same doc, yeah. I called her. Did you say the words do not come into my stream? I told her the same thing, yeah, just to respect each other and be civil too. But you told her not to show up at all, right? I did just say to avoid the stream whenever you're in, so then she just completely disrespected you. That's why I'm gonna talk to her. I hope you can learn not to be too kind for your own good, because that was unacceptable of her. It's okay. I'll talk to her, Toaster. I understand. Sorry it happened though. You did your part. I mean, I guess you could have banned her, but okay, bud. I wasn't expecting you to do that or anything. You know, he's really not as subtle as you think he is. Should have been as easy as just asking and her respecting the boundaries. If you said clearly to avoid the stream and not chat when I'm in, and she just said okay, then she was very clearly just did that on purpose. She knows why she was asked not to chat. She doesn't give a shit. I would be fucking furious if I were you. More specifically, if I was in your position. Like, the whole time he's trying to set her up to say, well, you ask her not to come into your stream. Don't you think that's disrespectful to you? She's disrespecting you. You should cut ties with that person. That he's trying to convince her for, and it's so obvious. If she's not participating, I will be timed out in chat for the duration of the stream, that I can make it happen. And I should state that even that is a compromise. Then I don't know if I'll be capable of participating in a way where I'll be able to celebrate properly and wouldn't want to risk showing up and it going south, like last collab. I would feel very awkward to know that Anon got to play with you on stream for your celebration and I had to be put away to play. Well, he's the one that doesn't want to participate while the other person's here. Literally, you aren't being put away. You were invited to play on stream and refused. Yeah, exactly. I want to celebrate with you and everyone else, my community who loves you too. Okay. You guys will literally be in different time slots. It happens. Are you okay with what she did and how she treated me? That is between you guys. Please stop treating my birthday event like a turf war. I'm really accommodating, even more so to you. I haven't talked to anyone else right now about it. Well, listen along. You're autistic as heck. No. The fuck? Okay, so there's more to Anon's 2 experience. It took almost 2 years of distancing and healing. They honestly were surprised to know that they weren't the only one to have these types of conversation with him, mostly due to the fact that they were terrified of what EvilToaster connections could do to Anon 2 being a smaller VTuber. 3 experience, this person wasn't able to get photo evidence, but they do say not far-fetched considering everything else in this doc. I was weirded out by him. This is my side of the story. I believe probably many felt the same way. I felt guilt tripped into playing and hanging out with them, especially when they confront me for not including them in a collab and such. Guilt trip. Yeah. Best way to make friends. This is Sheffy's experience. Last one. I don't know 10% we went through what happened. The vibes were a little off, but I wasn't sure if I was misrepresenting it. Now the deaf were. He was basically trying to humiliate me, so I thought I'd tell you what happened so I can avoid him. Sorry. I stopped talking that last half because I was crying the whole time. Oh, really? Oh my god, I'm so sorry. That's so shitty. It's okay. Yeah, I kind of felt weird because he asked for a fun fact. I said I was allergic to fruit and he said that wasn't very fun. I'm like, oh, okay. I wasn't sure what to say or interact. There's a drop box. Oh god. Let's play it.
Oh, Kelly, sent me this thing, right? And it said short people are more likely to have like psychotic traits.
Huh?
And he said that was you.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
What? What does that mean?
I don't know. He just sent it to me randomly. He's like, "This is Kelly."
What?
At first, I thought he was referencing
Hello?
himself.
I'm not psychotic.
What? Why would he say that? And then why would you share that? Hello?
He just said you're absolutely a psychopath.
I'm not.
Are you good?
New lore just dropped.
No, not
good.
me.
I'm feeling
Kelly
attacked.
is.
Nope. No, but like, why are you sharing that?
It's the truth.
Huh?
You guys deserve to know she's psychotic.
No.
Sheffy? Can you don't? Hello?
Hello.
What's so funny? Sheffy?
Yes.
Can you stop with that?
Sorry.
Sheffy makes a joke about short people being psychotic, Zach catching strays. Specifically because someone sent her a new broadcast from the study saying so, and it was directly towards Kelly, her friend. It's a joke that's common between the two of them. Even Kelly's mod Geoff comment on Kelly's height and say she is psychotic, so it's obviously accepted by both Kelly and her community. It's clear that Sheffy meant no disrespect by saying it. Whether or not the joke was not Toaster's cup of tea, it's the fact that he continues to press Sheffy after the joke's already passed. This is live with multiple people streaming. The person the joke is addressed to is laughing, and while Toaster believes Sheffy is the one laughing, it's actually Kelly. No one else seems to have a problem except him. The other thing to note is Sheffy stops joking immediately when she realized Toaster is upset. And she was confused because Toaster wasn't actually telling her to stop. He just said hello, which can mean anything. He says, "Why are you sharing that?" with a slight chuckle, so Sheffy thinks he's generally asking and joking around. She says, "Because it's true." After this, it's clear Toaster is upset. Mental illness jokes are bound in the VTuber community, which Toaster has commented on before to me. I used to tweet opinions, but it's more difficult in this space, especially since a lot of my opinion would easily be seen as an attack on other people in the scene, like the rampant ableism in VTuber humor, for example. What kind of humor? Like, what specifically is common to say? Things like making jokes about PTSD, OCD, etc. I see people making schizo jokes or jokes about hearing voices. Triggered humor, obviously, is very common in this scene, and I kind of just observed as degenerate. I will be able to speak! Degenerate humor. Things like making jokes about PTSD, OCD, etc. I see people making schizo jokes. I've already read that. I'm dumb. Okay, I'm the one that's starting to hear voices now. So Sheffy goes to apologize to EvilToaster in DM. She's like, "Sorry, I didn't mean to make you feel weird or anything. I know you don't like mental health related jokes, and it just took me a moment to understand what was the issue. No one likes mental health related jokes. I asked you in chat earlier about the PTSD jokes too. Yeah, sorry, I didn't fully understand it at first, and that's my bad. I'm just used to different humor with others, and I'm really sorry. You should really be concerned about those others. Yeah, it's past my bedtime since he was late and we started even later. Okay, it's alright. You okay? No, what's up, Sleepy? Can't hold back my tears. I feel so awful right now. Is it because of what Toaster said? Yeah, I want to leave, but I'm host. I'm just trying to finish already. Oh, she started crying during the collab. So he kind of ruined the collab. She wanted to leave on her own collab and she was crying while streaming. Yo, that's a mood. Okay. You know what? I'm convinced. I'm convinced. Obviously, we still have to see his side, but this doesn't look good. I'm pretty sure I don't know if he's doing this on purpose, if he's planning this ahead, or if he's just done this so much that it's like ingrained in him. Not having read the doc, I went into this thinking it might just be some interpersonal drama, but holy shit, this is manipulative, murdering, and mentally abusive. I know. I was on the fence when I just opened the doc and it was just like a power dynamic. I was like, oh god, it's gonna be another one of those. But no, you know what? This doc, it's got the Rima stamp of approval. No, it's legit. I believe them. I believe them. 100%. Some reactions from Tiger Natch, Tora, Kimmy. I already put out my experience with Toaster before, probably not in the best way, but I've been bad-mouthed for siding with an abuser. Simply because I didn't choose sides when two people I knew were going through a dispute. I was guilt-tripped, given an ultimatum, asked for proof, as I was being made to choose between friends, one very new and one I'd known for a long time. But that apparently just made me side more of an abuser. I don't get how you can be neutral on this. Okay, let me put this in more blatant term. Let's say I had two friends. One day, one of those friends decided that anytime they saw me, They would beat the shit out of me until I bleed. I decided I would like to keep living, so I cut them off entirely. Well, you're not a dramatic. And that's coming from me. I'm a drama queen. I tell my other friend what happened. They say sorry, and they hang out with them the same day, laughing and being happy. I remind them this person beat the shit out of me, and they say, sorry that happened, but they're still going to be around. Do you still think this person is your friend? You think this person respects you? If you were the person in the middle and you had a friend who was beating the shit out of any of your other friends, what would you do with those two people? If your friend said, hey, your other friend is beating the shit out of me, I would really appreciate if you valued my safety and stability by keeping them away from us while we continue to be friends. Would you just be like, no? Would you still see the abuser friend the same? Just be like, oh, that issue is a problem, like it has nothing to do with you. You're talking about this issue like it's not so black and white, when that just doesn't make sense. If I was a woman, I said that I was abused by a man, would you have taken that more seriously? No. You really thought it was gotta gotcha her? No. You know, I asked that question without even thinking of which answer would be worst. Bruh. Don't go there with me. I was never even given any indication that I am like that. I've even told you that's not how I think on multiple occasions. It's an impossible standard at the end of the day. It just matters how close we are to it. That sentence made me really angry. Don't say that to anyone because it will not be taken lightly. Which sentence? I'm just trying to figure out what I had to explain it the way I did for you to understand the situation. Just don't say that, Toaster, regardless. It's one of the things you never ever say. Yeah, he just went there. He tried to make it a gender thing. You know what? People want equality. When women try to make it a gender thing, we think it's cringe. It can go both ways, Toasters. When men try to make it a gender thing, we also think it's cringe. Your new model is really cool, by the way. Congrats on the debut. Do you have fun? Smile? Passive. If he emotes that to you, you know he's not happy. It's like the opposite of the smile. It's like the Dorian Gray of frog emotes. Yeah, stop smiling, you heretic! I can't deal with the answer you gave me about the Cecile situation. It's just how I deal with things. Can I not state my opinion? I have a feeling something was up. Why not just talk to me about it? What do I even say? Exactly what you just said above. We can be adults and talk about stuff. I'm not looking to start an argument or anything. Then what am I supposed to do as an adult? If my friends are willing to value whatever someone who abused me does for them over the entirety of myself? All I said that it was her choice, what she decided to do. That's all it was. And you expressed your concern to her and she's doing whatever she's doing. It's up to you what you want to do. That's all. You give me the case that what happened in between you and the abuser and the friend in question is someone on the outside. I don't know what I said that was that bad. You said can't fault someone for making that choice. Yeah, because you can't force her to choose. Would you want to force her? I mean, obviously I can't force anyone to do anything, but I can't fault her for it. Fair enough. I never said you can't be upset about it. In my example of an ex, I also said how I didn't like it. Then why would you let your friends stay friends with them if they did the awful things you said they did to you? Assuming we're talking about the same person. Because I can't force them and I don't want them to make them choose. That's just my choice. You don't want to make your friend choose between you and your abuser. I'm not going to make my friends give my friends an ultimatum. No, that's not how things works. Makes no sense to me. You don't want to force your friends, but you kind of are with an ultimatum. I'm not forcing them to choose a specific option. I'm telling them to prioritize me over my abuser, or otherwise they have shown in that act that they are not my friend. The way it only makes sense to me is to not even ask a friend to do that. It's just have no self-respect. If I thought I was actually as worthless as I was made to be, how I was treated, and thought I deserved that, then sure, it's not up to my friend to prioritize me because I deserved it, but I didn't deserve that. Why would anyone who respects me want to be welcome to someone who abused me? If they're willing to put their own comfort over mine by avoiding the confrontation, or just valuing whatever they do for them over my safety and my mental stability, then they aren't a friend. That's not friend behavior. Okay, then just quietly distance yourself, EvilToaster. What do you want me to say? That actually pisses you off reading that. Man, I'm sorry for Kimmy for going through that. Okay, so after all of this, there's several people that came out that used to be friend with him that commented on the situation. Zen said, I think I will take today off to step away and take a briefer. Have an awesome day. Stay safe, everyone. And she tweeted, I may or may not take tomorrow or the weekend off because I'm generally hurt so much and I don't know how to deal with my emotions properly. And this person also had interaction with him. Sumi Mizuki saying, without even reading it yet, with the few interactions I had with him a couple years back, I know that whatever is in this doc is true. Poor Zen. It's a shock because he probably treats her, it's kind of like I'm assuming a lot of things here, but you know, when I watched the whole Alpha Red stream where he was talking about Yakurisu, he seemed really distressed because he was like, and he kind of said something like, she treated me well, she was my friend, so I want to give her, like, I have to give her like the benefit of the doubt. But after he heard everybody's story, he was like, shit, you know, this is for sure true. And you don't judge people. How can I say? He doesn't dare try to stuff with Zentreya because of her status, just like Yakurisu didn't dare to try to stuff with Alpharad because of his status. But you should judge people on how they behave towards people they have nothing to gain from, right? A new toaster doc has been dropped. There's no way, right? Oh god.